Being naughty, huh? Relax, Jingle Balls. You're not gonna stab anyone with that candy cane.
What are you gonna do?
I'm going to tell you a story.
Look, I don't have time for this bullshit.
Take a seat and listen to the story of Frau Perchta.
Okay.
'Twas Christmas time in Germany, and young Helga danced around the house excited for the presents she knew would come this year. Delighted at the thought of taking a new wooden sled out on the hill, or having a lavish tea party with all her new dolls. She twirled and sang with glee. Then her mother called out, "Helga, come help me with these scarves." And her joy disappeared. At first Helga tried to ignore her, but her mom, looking stern, came into the room and grabbed Helga, sitting her at the loom. "I don't want to weave," cried Helga. "I want to play. Ever since we came here, all we do is work, and we never get to play." It had been a hard year for Helga. She and her mother had to move to this isolated village to look after her grandfather, and the only other child there was a pudgy, spoiled little boy named Gunther, who lived next door. There was hardly a time she would see Gunther without his hand in a bag of candy and an annoying smile on his face. Begrudgingly, Helga helped with the weaving. At dinner time, there was a knock at the door, and surprise, surprise, it was Gunther and his mother, who had brought a pork shoulder and potatoes. "Guten Abend," said Gunther through a mouthful of fudge. After everyone shoveled down a disgusting dinner, gnawing the gristle off the bones, the adults cleaned up, and Helga was left with the annoyingly chipper Gunther. With a smug look on his face, Gunther pulled out a gift, wrapped in expensive paper and a lavish bow. "I know it is your first Christmas in the village, and I wanted to welcome you with a little treat. Frau Perchta doesn't give a coin to greedy children." Helga was elated. A Christmas present! She was about to unwrap it when Gunther wagged his finger. "You must not open it until Christmas. Why don't you put it under the tree?" Helga put the gift under the tree and realized it was the only gift there. She was furious. The neighbors left with cheerful smiles, but Helga glared at them with fury and envy. When her mother asked Helga for help to finish weaving their Christmas presents, she refused. "Why make them gifts when they already have everything in the world? On Christmas, that fat pig will have more chocolate than I could ever eat, and I only have a single present under the tree." This put Helga's mother in an awful state, and she went to bed in tears, unable to even finish the scarves. And Helga, now free of supervision, got an awful, terrible idea. She waited until Gunther and his mother went to bed, peered in to make sure the lights were off. Then she snuck into their home with a large sack, filling it with gifts from under their tree. She didn't stop there. She went to their pantry and took every morsel she could manage, all of the Christmas treats. She even took all of their decorations. She pulled out a marker and scrawled on the walls, "Merry Christmas, you fat pigs!" in big black letters. She laughed to herself all the way home until she noticed hoof prints that hadn't been there before, leading to her front door, which was wide open. Helga ran inside and felt the wind rush through her home, carrying the cries of small children with it. She cautiously checked every room in the house to find who had left the hoof-shaped prints.
Hold on. Gotta pee.
"I'm trying to tell a story."
Just keep going. It's fine. I'm listening. Ah! Fuck! What the fuck did you do to my...
Now, what did we learn about interrupting a good story?
Get fucked.
What was that?
Please continue.
Slowly, she made her way to her mother's weaving room, only to find two strange creatures waiting for her. The first was a tall, hairy beast with sharp claws, tall horns, and jagged, bloody teeth. The other, an old woman in ragged clothes, with an iron nose and a large duck foot in place of her left foot, supporting herself with a hefty cane. The horned beast grabbed Helga. She couldn't run away no matter how hard she tried. The woman ran her fingers along the surfaces, seeing dust and mess everywhere. Frau Perchta, Helga uttered, and a smile ran across her face as she realized a silver coin could be coming her way. Frau Perchta's face frowned with disgust as she stared at the dust now caked onto her talon-like fingers. With a strength unexpected from a woman of her age, she picked up the dirtiest table in the room and hurled it out the window. A large gust of wind ran through the room, chilling Helga to the bone as she heard childlike screams ring in her ears. But Frau Perchta's visit wasn't done yet. Her gaze fell upon the two looms in the room with unfinished scarves suspended in them. The disgust on her face turned to such a burning rage that with a gesture from her cane, she lit the unfinished work on fire. Do I still get my coin? Helga timidly asked as she watched the flames spread. Frau Perchta's head whipped over to lock eyes with Helga. Do I get my porridge? She mockingly asked the little girl. Helga was still held firmly in the beast's grasp and tried to break free, but could not. It was then she dropped her sack. The presents, the treats, the decorations, they all fell to the floor, spilling out onto Frau Perchta's duck foot. She wagged her finger at Helga. You've been a naughty girl. Perhaps I'll make you a doll, she said coyly. Oh, how wonderful, said Helga, delighted at the thought of a supernatural Christmas present. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, she exclaimed in relief. But the beast's grip didn't let go, and Frau Perchta pulled a large, rusty carving knife from her cloak. The excitement left Helga's face as the old woman slowly made her way towards her. I can make you porridge, Helga cried. The beast's grip tightened. I'll clean the house. I'll do all the weaving all by myself. Frau Perchta dropped her cane and rested her hand on the girl's shoulder. Please, I just wanted a happy Christmas, Helga begged. The girl's pleading failed to move the old crone, and a smile came across her face as she brandished her knife. With a swift motion, she thrust the blade into Helga's stomach and sliced it open. The child's innards spilled onto the floor as the Christmas cheer drained from her face. Frau Perchta took the sack of Christmas gifts and stuffed them into poor Helga's lifeless corpse. She then found a needle and some strong thread, sewing the wound back up as the room continued to burn around her. Her beastly companion lifted the life-size doll with ease, carrying it through the home, leaving a trail of blood behind him. As the Yuletide pair left the burning home, he and Frau Perchta laid the ungrateful child under the tree, beside Gunther's perfectly wrapped present. The end.
That's it? We're done?
I think I've distracted you just long enough.
Long enough for what? Long enough for what?